In the occupied city of Starobilsk, Luhansk region, a Ukrainian strike destroyed a Russian army truck loaded with weapons and ammunition. The vehicle was reportedly parked at a gas station when it was hit, triggering a massive explosion and a raging fire. Witnesses and footage from the scene show secondary detonations as the ammunition inside continued to cook off, sending blasts and shrapnel across the area. According to reports, 3 Russian soldiers were killed in the strike. The incident not only eliminated a stockpile of munitions, but also dealt another blow to Russia's logistics in the region, further straining their ability to sustain frontline operations in eastern Ukraine. The strike in Starobilsk also sparked panic among Russian troops stationed nearby, with emergency services struggling to contain the fire amid ongoing detonations. The loss of both manpower and critical supplies is expected to slow Russian resupply efforts in the sector, giving Ukrainian forces greater leverage in upcoming operations. Russians have recently advanced deep in the area east of Dobropilya. The situation has concerning elements which can escalate it into a serious crisis. But at this stage, we're still not witnessing a disaster, and by definition, not even a breakthrough. The situation had been deteriorating for some time. The Russians had been attempting to advance in the Dobropilya direction earlier this month. A gray zone had formed in the area as the Ukrainians struggled to maintain a firm defense against the infiltrating enemy. Russia has an advantage in expendable manpower. Once it finds a weak spot, it can aggressively try to exploit it by pushing more infantry into the area. Small infiltration groups will try to advance as far as possible, which is enabled by the porous Ukrainian defenses. Dealing with Russian infiltration tactics can be challenging for the already attrited and understaffed defenders. Ukrainians have been relatively good at preventing crises from emerging this summer, but it was to be expected that at some point the problems would accumulate. The Russians managed to advance up to 10 to 15 kilometers deep, but this can't be described as a breakthrough yet. I'm not underestimating the situation or saying it isn't still very difficult, but it's important to put the known developments and details into the right context. A breakthrough would require armor. Russians are currently advancing in a relatively narrow area, and I have not seen any heavier armored vehicles operating in the salient. Bringing armor forward is difficult because of the drone-dominated dynamics on the battlefield. To break through and actually cause a more serious collapse in Ukrainian defenses, Russia would need to commit a mechanized echelon to exploit the initial success. As long as Ukraine prevents this, the AFU has a good chance of regaining control of the situation. Russia needs to solidify captured positions and widen the flanks of the current breach in order to bring heavier equipment and support weapons in. As the spearhead operates relatively deep, supporting and supplying the infiltration groups can soon become an issue. The situation should be resolvable with a successful counterattack if the Ukrainians manage to gather enough reserves in the area before the Russians gain a stronger hold on the newly gained positions. It is, however, uncertain if the Ukrainians can actually do it. In the worst-case scenario, small Russian infantry groups supported with drones continue advancing all around the salient, causing chaos within the Ukrainian defenses, making concentrated and well-directed counterattacks considerably more difficult. The situation near Dobropilya needs a solution soon, in a way or another. If counterattacks and stabilization measures fail, tactical withdrawals from some endangered positions may need to be considered to shorten the front line. Ukraine's rapid and forced deployment of units from a limited reserve base may open up new possibilities for the Russians, as they're likely seeking to exploit Ukraine's reactive state in other sectors of the front. An autumn full of difficult decisions may lie ahead. In the Russian Tatarstan Republic, police detained Russian military personnel who deployed an Orlan-10 reconnaissance UAV in a field. The Lenta Novosti Tatarstan media outlet published photos of the detention of 4 operators. It is likely that the Russian operators of the Orlan-10 drone went to the field for training without the consent of the local authorities. The Orlan-10 is a Russian tactical-level drone used for reconnaissance and artillery fire adjustment. The immediate reaction of the local police to the appearance of the drone operators was due to the fact that facilities in Tatarstan are regularly attacked by Ukrainian drones. Recently, for the second time in a week, Ukrainian security service attack drones struck the Shahed storage terminal in Tatarstan. The previous attack by long-range drones on this facility of the Russian military-industrial complex took place on August 9th. Back then, the attack involved Liuti drones. So, because of Ukrainian attacks, Russian police are on edge and, as we can see, have begun arresting their own soldiers. A trilateral meeting with Trump and Putin is planned, but its date has not yet been set, said President Zelensky. He also stressed that the meeting between the U.S. and Russian presidents in Alaska will matter only for bilateral relations. No decisions on Ukraine will be made there, and the Ukrainian president believes Trump understands this.
Mark Thyssen, as for negotiations, they are important at the leadership level in any case. But talking about Ukraine without Ukraine is impossible, and no one will accept that. Therefore, a conversation between the President of the United States and we support the United States and Putin can certainly be important for their attitude, but they cannot accept anything about Ukraine without us. And the United States understands and realizes this. Certainly, we will have a trilateral meeting at the leadership level. I do not know the date. If we want to end the war, that's how it will be. Various issues will be raised. Stand by the truth, by your truth. Certainly do everything to end this war.
The White House has announced the location of the Trump-Putin meeting. According to White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, the leaders will meet in Anchorage, the largest city in Alaska.
On Friday morning, President Trump will travel across the country to Anchorage, Alaska, for a bilateral meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The brutal war between Russia and Ukraine broke out under Joe Biden's incompetent leadership. But President Trump is determined to try and end this war and stop the killing. As the president has said over and over again, his strong preference will always be for peace and partnership, whenever those outcomes can possibly be achieved. There is no leader in the world right now who has been more committed to preventing wars or ending them than President Donald Trump.
Meanwhile, Russian Member of Parliament Gurilev thinks that Ukraine will capitulate in Alaska and the Russian soldiers will return home to become MPs and government officials. A glimpse into the Russian mind.
The capitulation will be accepted in Alaska. We take the overcoat and go home. Congratulations to everyone on the victory. Soon all the heroes will be home, and those who didn't make it to the special military operation will regret it. I am proud of our warriors. They have earned rest and a worthy place in peaceful life. Many will become deputies and government officials. Peace and goodness to all.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.